Well, it's late in the day, and I really want to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to talk about your website, That's for the Bullier.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate the chance to share some information.
Thank you. Well, as a school counselor, I know you deal with many issues and problems facing families today. Why have you chosen to devote so much of your energy into the subject of bullying?
Because while it's more universally understood now that bullying is a very serious problem, it remains remarkably resistant to most of the common approaches being used to deal with it. It's not just a part of growing up that toughens up kids for later life. It can't be dismissed as just kids being kids. It's violence. It's dangerous, and it's a phenomenon that needs correction, and I hope I can help do something about it.
Okay. So why do you think kids bully others?
Well, bullying is an exceptionally selfish behavior. It's usually employed in order to enjoy special privileges, to demonstrate dominance in front of a group, or to feel more powerful personally. But the condition that permits the bullying behavior is really the absence of sensitivity to the feelings of others. In other words, bulliers lack a developed sense of empathy. Empathy is the ability to feel what another person's feeling, and it's a lovely human ability that serves as a control on our selfish impulses.
So what would you say is the Best for the Bullier philosophy on bullying interventions?
Well, the website was created because I feel we've lost some perspective. In our passion to do something about bullying, we've started to become bullies ourselves. We may hate their behavior, but when we're speaking of children who bully, we can't allow ourselves to be cruel and intolerant, to be vindictive toward the child. I don't think it's an exaggeration to suggest that this is the direction we've started to go, as though letting them know what awful people we think they are is going to make them nicer. They're not awful people, they're kids. So the idea behind Best for the Bullier is to provide a ready consequence for bullying that communicates the clear unacceptability of that behavior, while allowing the child to retain their dignity as they reconsider their actions. They're still learning and developing. They're a work in progress, and they obviously need adult help.
Well, your philosophy seems to describe a novel approach, directly considering the needs of the bullier and not only the victims of bullying.
Yes, I'm sorry to say that it is rather novel to think tolerantly about the bullier. The bullier's behavior is definitely intolerable, but if we want to see an end to this widespread problem, we must separate the behavior from the individual and then work constructively with the child to change the behavior. I hope we continue to do as much as we possibly can to teach kids how to avoid becoming the targets of bullying and to support those who have been targeted. But we can't just leave our interventions at that, since bulliers can, and almost always do, move on to new targets once their punishment is over.
So, do you think an approach based on tolerance will work with all the bulliers?
All bulliers, no, unfortunately, but we have to give them all reasonable opportunities to improve before jumping directly into the harsher treatments, public ridicule, suspension, threats, etc. We must treat them like decent people who have made mistakes in the hopes that they will see themselves in this way. We can't just insist that a person become nicer. We can empower them with the information and the skills and the reasons to consider making the choice to be nicer their own. All that said, I do acknowledge that sometimes suspension or even expulsion is necessary in order to publicly demonstrate intolerance for destructive behavior. I just hope that these treatments are employed sparingly, as the message of intolerance that they send to the bullier and to the community may actually contribute to further bullying.
Yes. Well, where did the idea to create a course like this come from?
In my roles as both a teacher and a school counselor, I found it economical to sometimes use internet communication tools like podcasts, videos, and Skype chats to work with children. It saved a lot of class time, but in the case of misbehavior, it also often persuaded the dean or the principal not to punish or suspend a student whose choices were hurting others if the student took the after-school discussions very seriously. And that's the format of this course, watching a video lesson at home and then discussing it afterward with an adult, a mentor, usually by Skype, and with no disruption of the school day.
So, if a child enrolls in the course, you're saying they need a mentor to help out?
Yes. Any student seeking enrollment must also be linked to an adult mentor to work with for the duration of the course, somebody to talk to about the video content and with whom they can process their perceptions and their understanding. Usually a mentor is found from among school faculty with the help of administration. It's not something that we provide. Guidelines and information on the mentoring role is sent to the mentor that's chosen upon enrollment. It's important to mention that mentors are normally compensated for their time, much as parents would compensate an academic tutor working with their child.
Now, would it be possible for parents or another family member to perform the role of the mentor?
While in some very rare cases it might conceivably succeed, that's very strongly discouraged. It's too often a disaster, frankly. For the sake of family relationships and peace in the home, we don't recommend that. An ideal mentor would be, for instance, a teacher at the child's school who does not normally interface with him during the school day. If my child were a 5th grader, for instance, I'd maybe be looking to a 2nd or 3rd grade teacher who had not had my child in his class, or possibly look to a high school teacher to serve as the mentor. The main thing to say about mentoring is that it's a calling to people who care about and respect kids, and it's a very fulfilling experience.
So, what other nuts and bolts information should people know about this course before we conclude the interview?
Okay, let me summarize the process. A young person who enrolls in this course spends a few hours of after-school time watching several brief video lessons, lessons that explain what bullying really is, the serious damage it really causes, and why it's the bullier's responsibility to change his behavior or accept the consequences if he or she does not. At the moment, this is a course designed primarily for boys aged 10 to 14. The students in this course don't meet each other. It's an independent path for each enrollee, and nothing about it involves group effort. After each video, the student then contacts his mentor to discuss the video content, each video one by one. And at the end of the course, which must be completed in 30 days, the student's mentor will let us know whether or not, in his opinion, the student took the course seriously and understands the damage bullying behavior can and does do. If so, Best for the Bullier will provide a certificate of completion that may, if necessary, be shown to the school. In some cases, a mentor may note that the student has participated in the course with an advanced manner of maturity and sincerity, in which case he'll receive a special seal on the certificate of completion.
Oh, wow. Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Wilson.
My pleasure. Thank you.